Welcome to Service Six Sigma, a live stream for mobile service professionals. Great news, you are here early. Please stand by as our live stream is about to begin. Thank you. Did you know Service Six Sigma has 6 sectors? Here they are: attract, convert, deliver, control, scale, and give back. Would you like to be an influencer for our sponsors? Please reach out to Ben Bergloff, President and Co-founder of Service Six Sigma. We would love to get you signed up. Please don't forget to send us your favorite videos and photos. We will play them live as we wait for our live stream to begin. Thank you.
Welcome to Service Six Sigma, and you are here early. So what we're doing, we just go live around 10 minutes before the hour, and that gives the algorithms a chance for YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to let people know that we are live with service6sigma.com. And we will have a different guest every day, and we have a lot of fun, and we've got a whole lot of history of all the live streams in the service6sigma.com page. So hang around. We try and make this 10 minutes interesting. Hang around till the hour. If you are in replay, fast forward until you see that the scenery has changed, and that will be us starting with the guest. Okay, see you then.
Catch you before you leave our live stream today. We are in fact live. We are just waiting for our live stream to begin. Please stand by as our live stream is about to begin. We go live at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time every single day, Monday through Friday, except for Saturday and Sunday. That is family time. But thank you for joining our live stream today. Please stand by as our live stream begins and wait and watch our commercials.
Welcome to a free live stream built around 6 sectors. This live stream created for mobile service professionals. We would like to introduce you to your hosts, Ben Bergloff, President of Service Six Sigma, and Perry Tate, Co-founder of Service Six Sigma. Welcome to Service Six Sigma, your live stream for mobile service professionals.
You're muted, Perry. Yeah, unmute me. Hey, here we are. Yeah, we're live now. Okay, so that sounded really professional, didn't it? I am here with Justin Noggle and Ben Bergloff, and we are going to talk about family, health, and finance. That's going to be our topic of the day with Justin as our guest. Just before that, I'm going to quickly run through what is Service Six Sigma so that everybody gets a hang of it. 90 second, here we go. So Service Six Sigma is for the service industries. That's our plan, right? We're going to reach out to carpet cleaners and roof cleaners, as well as our pressure washing, Christmas lights, snow plowing, window cleaning team that we know, all over the world. And we're going to look to see ways that we can cross-pollinate what's working for one industry might work for another. And, we'll all be able to do what is called Six Sigma. Six Sigma is a business term. You can go to Wikipedia and look it up. And what it means is basically that we're going to perfect our businesses, right, to the point of no errors. That's Six Sigma. Like airlines, except Boeing, are Six Sigma, and the nuclear industry is Six Sigma. So it's the best that can be humanly possible by the elimination of the things that go wrong. So those are your systems and processes. How do I deal with it? So that there's redundancy and all sorts of things like that. So that's our Six Sigma. And then we broke business into 6 sectors so that we can talk about them. So the 6 sectors are attract. How do you get a customer? That's your marketing, influencing, social media, all that kind of thing. You attract a customer to you, then you have to sell them. So sales is convert. Then you've got to deliver the service. That's your tools and techniques and your on-site safety and all those sorts of things. So that's ACDC. ACDC, Stairway to Heaven, that's how you remember it. Control, those are your admin, your systems and processes and all that. Once you've got that all worked out and you can replicate that process, then you're ready to scale. That means putting on multiple additional services and or putting on multiple trucks to deliver the services. And what we are, who our guests are the guests that will, with the knowledge that they've scaled, then they give back. So that's, you can give back to your community, which we had Paul No More on as one of our podcasts, but we're also looking, to the guys who have actually, got some wins under their belt. How do they give back to the community, to their team, to their family, to the industry, like that? So with no further ado, I shall introduce formally Mr. Justin Noggle.
Yeah.
You can't tell I watch UFC.
I like the intro. I appreciate it, Perry.
Yeah, from the blue corner, it's Justin Noggle. It's great.
So I appreciate you doing the technical issues to start the podcast, so I didn't have to. I know before I was kind of having some trouble getting in, but that was great. Yeah, I appreciate that.
This will be the first time that we've actually gone live without saying a word to each other. But it's a great way because it's just going to flow the way it flows, and what we love is the authenticity of being able to chat with people. No scripts, no preparation, and it's life. We have failure and success, and. But I think what we'll do is, because we came up with this, family, health, and finance, because I had this one, I say and it happens kind of thing. Like, you're a doer, obviously, and you get stuff done. But you said, no, that doesn't resonate with me. I'm a different guy to that, even though that's the result you get. So why don't we explore what happened when you're thinking about that versus saying, no, I'm more about this,
Boy, what it was, I say, I do. Is that what it was?
I think it was like I say, because you said, like, I get stuff done, I just, if I think I'm going to do something, I do it. And I thought, okay, I can, but you said, no, that's not me. Right.
Yeah.
So then you must have gone inside yourself and said, no, that is not me. I am about this.
Yeah, I think I was getting a little too introspective. I say I do. It kind of felt cold to me. It was just, I don't know. It didn't resonate in me. It was just,
not at all.
I'm not a business person. I have a business that does well. It does well. It runs on its own now. I mean, for the most part, I'm here daily, but we have the systems in place to be able to run. But I'm not a business guy. I just want to build my time freedom.
Nice. So one would assume that you gave me those three titles: family, health, and finance. That's your order of priority.
Boy, yeah. I mean, family and health are both pretty important. I mean, if you're dead, it's hard to enjoy your family. So,
yeah,
the financial part, that's I guess that's important too. You need the oxygen. So,
yeah. So let's go family. What? How many kids you got?
So I have two. I have my son Wesley is 5 years old, and then I have my daughter Harper, who's 7 years old, and they both are in school together. Oh, there they are. Perfect.
Oh, okay. Ben, that was pretty smart. Yeah. That was pretty good.
I like it.
Holy dolly.
That must be like my Facebook background by chance.
Yeah, somewhere we pinched it out and we ran through your Facebook and looked for
we kind of stalk people, Yeah.
I like it. That's okay. Stalk me more. But yeah, obviously that's Harper on the left, and then we have Wesley on the right, and then my wife Nicole there next to Harper. So yeah, that's our little family.
Look at that.
They are going to school.
See.
Yeah, that's Green Acres.
So you live in the country?
We do. Yeah, we're out. We're north of Seattle. So when you called out Boeing for not being Six Sigma, I don't know. You got on my bad side there.
I know, but I mean that whistleblower, he just got found dead in a car park with a bullet in his head.
Yeah, is that true? Are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I never heard about that.
Yeah. No, he was telling everybody what was going on, and he said, "Look, they changed all the systems, whatever." And he was going live on all these videos and things like that. Next minute, he's dead in a car park with a bullet in his head.
Yeah, be careful who you out. I guess Boeing's pretty powerful organization.
Yeah, it's sometimes we forget it's part of the military-industrial complex or the industrial-military complex.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. We could go down a rabbit hole with this. Are we going?
No.
Okay.
So, but the thing about the airline industry is that it needs to be Six Sigma, because it's way safer to fly even in a Boeing than no, but it's way safer to fly than it is to drive a car, because the systems and processes and the redundancies that are in airplanes. If an engine goes out, they cut it down, and all airplanes can fly with, now I think nowadays all engines can fly with one engine. Oh, sorry, all planes can fly with one engine, like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's super critical to have redundancy. I mean, I can relate to that. I used to be a commercial fisherman, so I don't know if I should tell my backstory at all.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go.
So that was essentially my whole life. So from 6 years old on, I would fly up to Alaska, and I would meet my dad up there, and from 6 to 10, I would just run the boat down with him. And then at 10 years old is when I started actually participating in the fishing. So,
wow.
Yeah. So we would go out, and halibut and blackcod were the target species, and they're the deep water offshore, right on the continental shelf, right where it starts to bank off. So we would go up there, and we would be up for anywhere between a month and a half and 3 months. And we would just, go out and make trips. But to tie it back into the redundancy, out on the boat, you're very isolated. We're 30 miles off the coast. I mean, up to 90 miles off the coast in some instances, and in a 47-foot wood boat. So if something goes wrong, it's kind of you, or you're yelling at the Coast Guard to try and get a helicopter to you as fast as possible. And they're not as quick as you would think. So we always just tried to have redundancy built in on everything. We had backup parts for every single fail point. And that was what my dad taught me on the boat. And I was able to, and now I carry that into the business. And so we have redundancy built in for jobs, and so we don't have the downtime.
Let's go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Because this is something that's completely unique, to find somebody who's actually worked in an environment and brought it into the industry. So there's going to be little things that you did by nature that other guys might go, nah, I haven't done that, because I wouldn't think that, or I would whatever. So, how do we do that? Maybe we talk about the times that the redundancy has saved you, the ones you can remember, because that's probably the easiest way to access, what you did intuitively, because I imagine you've done it intuitively first,
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much daily. There's always going to be something that breaks. I don't know if I said, we're exterior cleaners. So we wash roofs, houses, blah, blah, blah. And then we do Christmas lights. So anytime we're running a pressure washer, a soft wash system, something like that, that's an old picture. We don't pressure wash gutters. Yeah. Anyway, but anytime we're going out, our systems, I mean, they're pretty robust systems. They're skids that get forklifted in the back of the truck. They're massive, and there's sometimes they get pretty complex. We try to simplify them as much as possible, just so that there's less. Just so there's less fail point.
And
right.
And Ben, we got to remember this term, everybody, fail points. I don't think that's an industry term, right? But it's the right term. It makes sense. Immediately you hear it, fail point, fail point, fail point. Where are my fail points? What can fail? What has failed, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've bought, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I've bought systems that are extremely, they're awesome in theory, but in practice, they're not, because they have so much complexity to them that something is going to break. It's Murphy's Law, right? When you go long enough, everything's going to happen. So So we've gotten to the point where we simplify it and try to get it down to as bare bones as we can, but as efficient as possible. So here in the Northwest, moss grows like crazy. So we're pressure washing a lot of things. So we need a beefy pressure washer that pushes a lot of water, a lot of gallons per minute. And then we have, we just run 12-volt pumps where we're going towards gas pumps. But with our 12-volt pumps, we always have 2 on the truck, and they're plumbed already, which is really cool.
Right.
So they're ready to go. They're both in the same housing, and you just take a banjo fitting, pop them off one, pop them onto the other if one fails, because it's going to fail. It's just when.
Yes, that sounds very much like a deep fishing boat to me. It's going to fail. It's just when.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you have a toolbox which has got all these pieces in it that you go, these are also this are my repair things?
Mm-hmm.
And is it accountable? Is it? Do you survey it in a sense, once a month you got to go through that box, whoever is the driver of the truck, and he's got to account that everything's there?
Yeah. Hopefully David's watching this. He's my operations manager. And yes, we are looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, right, David? That's something that's been a bit of a pain point, and that's why I emphasize this. It was just we have a. I'm all about checklists, right? So if I don't have it on a checklist, I won't do it. I'm kind of like Ron Burgundy, with the teleprompter. I need step by step, or I just swirl out and I forget what I'm doing. So I have a checklist on Fridays where we have a toolbox that goes in each truck, and then it has separate compartments for each individual part, and then a picture that's a snapshot of it, and then a checklist that you go down to make sure that each part is in there. And it's a little bit, I think there's too much friction in it is really what the issue is. It's not so easy to just look at a glance and see it's missing. There's too much friction. So I need to reduce that by a bit,
Yeah, we also think about that because it's basically the accountability. And the other one is, when you take a part out, maybe the real issue is that when something is taken out, there's a system to replace it. If you have one of these super duper fridges and you take, your cheese out and you don't put it back, then the fridge says, hey, you need to order more cheese. It's kind of like, if the worker sent a message to the operations manager, I've just used this part, then it's in the system that a part is missing from his box. I don't know, like but if a part is missing from his box, Murphy's Law says that's the bit which is going to go.
Yes.
That's the bit he's going to need.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
do you run?
Go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
Okay. Yeah, So that's why even the toolbox is overloaded, because when that part doesn't get replaced, we want to have a part that can replace that part that didn't get replaced. So we have redundancy built into redundancy.
Yeah. So 2 is 1. That's what I was about to say. 2 is 1, 1 is none. You run that basic.
Essentially, yeah, I guess so. Like I think I've heard that, but I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a carpentry term. 2 is 1, 1 is none. So if you've got 2 of something and something breaks, you've still got another one, right? So you've got 1. But if you've got 1 of anything and it breaks, you now have none, and now you're not working.
Yep.
So it's also a great saying, and put into the training manual where the guys have it as part of their mantra. So then they understand when there's 2 of something in the toolbox and they take 1 out and they go, don't worry, I've already got another one. You go, no, 1 is none. 1 is none. 2 is 1. None. 1 is none. Like that.
I like that.
Thought you might. Okay, back to the fishing boat. Like, what else? What else? So now you're 10. You're not going to school, it sounds like, for 3 months at a time, or 90 days at a time.
Yeah, well, luckily I had summer vacation, so that was when I would go.
Okay.
So school would cut out, and I would jump on a plane and fly up to Alaska. So I never really had a full summer vacation my entire life. I would either take, during school, I'd never go 3 months, but I mean, probably the longest was maybe a month and a half up there. At 10 years old, it's probably a week, but
yeah,
go up there and, fish with my dad, and then either run the boat down or fly down, and then just have a big pile of cash and go buy some stupid toy.
Right. I love it. Well, I used to do that. I was a window cleaner, and I was a single dad, and I'd take the kids out on the weekend and we'd go window cleaning, right? And then if we did somebody's residence, they think these kids are like 10 and 11. Like, it's not like it's illegal now, like we'd have householders going, you can't bring your kids here. But now they're 30, 31 and 33. Back then, it was so cute. And then sometimes they'd get $100 tip. Like, I got no tip. The kids got $100 put into their hand, so they get $100 tip. But I think that there's an element of goodness in that, and then we would then go to McDonald's, or like we were poor actually, but they didn't know it. We lived a high life, but I always say that, like, you maintain the quality of life that you want your kids to have, and you deal with the back end to make sure that the money keeps coming in.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
yeah, kind of similar. I mean, I guess we grew up. I guess we started out. Money was tight when I was younger, like young, and then quota, the value of halibut and blackcod just skyrocketed. It's a very sought after, blackcod especially is a very sought after fish in Japan, and it's basically like Chilean sea bass's cousin or something. It's very similar in texture and flavor, so it's an extremely valuable fish, and the price just skyrocketed, and so the value of the quota went through the roof. And my dad's a smart guy. He got his master's degree from University of Washington in fisheries research or management or whatever, and he kind of was climbing the ladder and then realized he was going to be stuck in an office and didn't want to do that. So he said he just wanted to go kill fish instead of studying them. So,
wow, isn't that classic? Yeah. All righty. Okay, so what else transferred from being, this fail point mentality? What else do you have when you set up? How many trucks have you got right now?
We have 4 trucks. We're just running 2 right now. We're just scaling up out of the February.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you scale those trucks, what like, so you imagine, for example, I use Ben as an example. He's got one beautiful truck, he's got his snow removal gear, he's got one of everything. But when he goes to scale, what are the things in relation to fail points, in relation to efficiency, what are the things that you think of as you put that next truck? It might already be a map that you've already done, but what are the key elements that you got to get right?
Yeah, so we have a basic loadout. I mean, we don't have it. There's always room for improvement, right? So it's not mapped like exactly like I would like it, but we do have a checklist of supplies that we want to put on each truck when we're bringing it back in, because we take these trucks and we convert them into Christmas light trucks, and so we basically just pull everything off of it, throw the Christmas lights in there, put a couple ladder racks on, and we can go hang Christmas lights. And so then we just strip them down again after light season, and then forklift in a skid. Luckily, our neighbor has a forklift, so they just throw it in there for us.
That's great. Yeah.
And then we basically just throw our operations manager on that truck, and then watch him cry as everything breaks the first couple times out, and he just fixes it. So we try to test it here, but it just, things are going to break. It's when it sits for a few months, it just happens.
Right. So, all right. So it's just carrying the bits. Yeah. Carry the bits.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. It's going to break good. It's the Jocko thing. I think John Carmazin told me about that one.
Yeah, there's definitely my one is which I learned off my mentor, by the way, is next, right? So I'd have this mentor, and then things would be going wrong. I go, oh, this went wrong and that went wrong, and he just goes, next.
Yeah.
Like, so what? Nobody cares. Yeah. Next. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do about it? Like, and then just stop your pity party. Nothing not worth emotion. Certainly not worth blame. It's just next. Like, keep moving. Pedal.
And it gets easier as you go too, because when you're first starting out, I mean, I remember it vividly. I had so many nights like where it was hard to sleep. I'd be thinking about everything that was broken in my business. I mean, everything's still broken in my business. It's not like you can improve on everything, but when you first start out, you're hitting all of these points that are the highest stress that you've hit so far. And so it's just like one after another where it's just like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that ever happened. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But then as you are exposed to it more and more, like the worst thing that's ever happened to me, it shields me from the little things now. So like, I mean, somebody calls in sick, who cares? A piece of equipment breaks, whatever, like somebody, like, I don't know. I mean, somebody broke a piece of whatever, who cares?
I got taught this saying that, if you imagine a rubber band, right, then it's kind of like compared to the rubber band, but it's when you stretch a rubber band, it returns to the same dimension. But when you pull a human being, they never return to the same dimension. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. We become that, and I taught Harrison to drive in our transit van. Like, we had a long wheelbase, high top transit van with a tailgate. And then I got him to get all the basics together. And then I took him into the worst road in Sydney, which is 3 lanes that should be 2. They just squashed another lane in there. And he's like up above all the other cars looking down going, that car's close. And so he goes away from it. And I go, oh, you're getting too close to the car on this side. As I said, if you can drive a transit van down Parramatta Road, everything else is easy.
I guess that's one way to do it. I don't know if I would go straight into that. I couldn't. I mean, my nerves would be shot by the end of that drive.
I mean, I've got to stop, start, brake, steering, all that stuff. I've done all that on off-road, like off in the private roads. But then I go, okay, you're ready. Like, let's go. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely not doing that with Harper when she turns 16. Yeah, no.
Okay. So, yeah, that's amazing. I like fail points. I think fail points is, I'm gonna talk to Harrison about that. Just say, like, I mean, I know from a manufacturing point of view, if you look at our history, we'd like 12 years ago, we started and we just made plastic broom style brushes, and then we made constructor brush, which was a journey, and so many things, if you were delicate, nothing went wrong. But if you were if you gave it to a worker who's rough, like a lot of things went wrong from time to time. And then every time something goes wrong, we get the report. It's uncomfortable. You don't like it, but you go, okay, now I know what I'm dealing with. And then, some guy drops it from 40 feet and says it shouldn't break it with a drop from 40 feet. And then I go, well, I'll see if I can stop it from breaking from 40 feet. You know what I mean? So it's still that whole process of trying to get it so that it can handle all environments, but it's still and everything reach it has spare parts, replaceable parts. Like our brushes, if your bristles get torn up on bricks, over a period of some places in the world, they've got brick frames, and then they're cleaning the edge of the window, but actually the bristles are, if they're really close to the edge, then they'll just run the bristles against bricks, and eventually the bristles will give up a bit and start distorting. But then you can still take the bristles out and put new bristles in. You know what I mean? Like it's right. What you're talking is my logic as a manufacturer. Is like I try and think, okay, well, when that guy can't work with my product, some people bagged us out in the days because we used to have a little tool. We still have a little toolkit of the potential fail points with spare parts in there. And people go, oh, that's because reach it breaks. I go, no, it's not. It's because it costs you $1,000 if it breaks, right? So it cost me 10 cents to put it in there. So I put a 10-cent part in there so you can make $1,000 a day.
And you're welcome.
Yeah, like.
Or you could buy a $1,000 part. So yeah. I don't know if it's really bad business, though. Do you want them to be able to fix their parts, or do you want?
Yeah. Because I was a window cleaner. Do unto others as you'd have done unto yourself. Like
it comes back. Yep.
Yeah. You just gotta run your own race, and if I know for Gary Vaynerchuk talked. I don't listen to very much Gary Vaynerchuk, but as I believe in serendipity and the path, and so one day I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk, and he had some people on, and he said that Ben, this one, but basically he had some aggressive people and some aggressive strategies competing with him, and Gary Vaynerchuk said, "Listen, are you a good person? Like, if black was bad, and mafia, and white is good, angelic, and where are you?" And they go, "Oh, we're gray." So if you're not gray, you're white, right? Sorry, if you're not black, you're white. There's only two sides. Of course, we're all gray, but he said the people that run business in a different way, right? And there are people he said, all you can do is run your business according to your character, your culture, your values. Don't try and compete in black if you're not black. Yeah. If you don't have a dark heart or a kill mentality, and that's what I think you alluded to at the very beginning. You're not really the businessman, but what you're alluding to is that businessman who's, is going to be a multi-millionaire guy. Like I'm not either, by the way. Like money's just not that important to me. So I'd just rather do the right thing. And, we grow organically, and we could grow. Ben and I's relationship started because he said my social media is crap, so. But we're growing every year. We grow 20% or something, and I'm ambitious to grow more, but I'm not going to do it in a ruthless way. I'd rather have perfect products and get repeat and referrals and all that.
Yeah,
and I think that's how our industry works, because I used to be a window cleaner, so I was in service, and I understand.
Yeah, I think that's the best long-term strategy from what I've seen. I mean, you can't if you're gonna do it the ruthless way. People aren't stupid. The market's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're going to recognize that what you're doing. And so doing the right thing in your own eyes is always the right thing. There's no way around it. You might win today because you did something that gave you a slight advantage and took advantage of someone else, but it will come back to you. Whether it's karma, whatever you want to call it,
I call it karma. Yeah.
Back,
Because can you imagine that when you pressure wash, if you actually afterwards sprayed the concrete with algae seeds or something, spores, you know what I mean? Well, that's like our industry where they sell brushes that fail in 6 months, and then everybody, so they build to fail, and then they have this ongoing repetitive repeating business because the product's failing, and that gives them a guaranteed cash flow coming in from the future but it's all because they make it to fail, you know. And that I always look at it as like making a window. You clean a window and then make it sticky so the dirt sticks, or you know, you spray algae spores so the algae grows. You'd never do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just a turnoff. I mean, I've dealt with vendors like that, and I know I've been through a lot of different products, and I'm not going to do business with some of those products that are going to fail quickly.
Yeah.
Or
especially you, right?
Yeah.
Because you have this thing about fail, right?
Yeah.
Fail points.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When it's too complex, don't put it in front of my face. Just keep it simple.
Right.
Let's get the job done, and you know, minimum viable product. Throw it out there, see if it works, let it fail, and then when it fails, do it a little better.
Okay, so now you're making me uncomfortable, right? Because I've got Flow Gold coming out, which is like complex. It's like beautifully complex.
Go for it. Go deep. Fine. Yeah, I'll keep up.
But inside it, right, it's beautiful. And inside it is serviceable, right? So if a pump fails, a pump can be replaced, you know? So we've got 2 pumps, we've got a super battery, we've got solenoids, we've got, you know, so you can use it with a tank or not with a tank. And, you know, it's really it's complex compared to anything else on the market. My answer to that is, was to make it serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
Yeah.
In the Justin Noggle
criteria.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm not selling you. I'm just saying we're talking philosophically. No. I'm just talking philosophically. Like if something's more complex, if it's more serviceable, does that make it more acceptably complex?
I suppose. I mean, I don't like complexity for the sake of complexity. It
right.
needs to have a function. Otherwise, get rid of it. So if it's not serving me, I throw it away. Like I guess.
Give me the best example.
My best example, I mean, at home. Okay, so my best example is put a beer in my hand and a fire in front of me, and I'm happy. That's it. Like throw away all of the stuff. Get that stuff away from me. I don't want things.
Right.
Keep the things.
Right.
That's anxiety. Like, oh my gosh, that's gonna break. You know. So I mean, the fire and a beer. That's about as simple as you can get. So I mean, I try to carry that on to the business too. I mean, at home, we do the spring cleaning and just like anything we can send to Goodwill. I mean, as soon as my wife says yes, it's gone. Get it out of here. So at the business too, you know, here, if we're not using it within a few months, like sell it, throw it away, get rid of it, so we don't have to see it. You know, just keep it out of our way. We want down on the floor in our warehouse. We want to have just the parts that the technicians need on a day-to-day basis. And if those are not needed on a day-to-day basis, put them upstairs where we can go access them later, just so that there's less to look at, less clutter. It slows you down to look at things that you're not using.
Yes. It's an interesting definition of efficiency, and it makes sense once you get to you've scaled to 4 trucks, you know, where you've got to have them on the road and off the road, and you've got to be able to change them from one service to the other, like, you know, because that's a complexity from the structure of the business. That you've got seasonal functions that van has to do. So you got to keep that transition as simple as possible too, I guess, isn't it?
Oh, and it is. I mean, it can't be simpler. We just grab a forklift, go stick it under the skid, lift it up, and then put it on the floor. And then we go and we just bolt on 2 ladder racks and call it good. We go hang Christmas lights.
Call it good.
Yeah.
That is interesting. When you talk health, what are you referring to mostly?
I mean, to me, health is 2-pronged. I would say there's the mental side and then there's the physical side. And both, I don't know if one's more important than the other, really. They both feed off of each other. So for me, I mean, I'm just like anybody else. I think I have my high points and I have my low points. And, you know, for me, I'll have some high highs and I'll have some low lows. And, you know, just recognizing that in myself and having ways to turn it around when I am at one of those low points is pivotal for me. And I found that in the 5-minute journal. I don't know if that's something you've heard of.
No.
Okay. So this is, and honestly, I'm sure you know Michael Hinderleiter, right?
Yeah, we interviewed him 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
so he's a friend of mine, and he posted on his Facebook about the 5-minute journal. He bought it for his daughter, and then he started using it. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. He showed me kind of what it was. And I had learned from a counselor years past that showing gratitude is a really quick way to get out of the negative spin cycle.
Yes, absolutely.
So what I would do is I just have notes on my phone, like the notes app or whatever. And I would just go, I'd write 3 things that I was grateful for that day. And right before I went to sleep. And, it was really tough because I was in this like super negative spin cycle where everything, like the world was falling apart and like nothing I did was working. Everything was breaking, just like extreme, like panic attacky, like literally like hyperventilating panic attacks, like, yeah. So what got me out of that was the gratitude and playing my son's Mario game. I don't know why the Mario game.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
But it's a distraction, I suppose. But so that gratitude was, was key for me for that. And then he showed me this book, or he posted it on Facebook. And so I bought a copy immediately for myself and just started doing it every day. And I took it with me. And I have to admit, my consistency is never consistent. So I go days and days without using it, but in my head, I'm still telling myself what I'm grateful for that day and speaking it out loud to other people and just letting them know like how much I appreciate everything that happened.
Yes.
And so I've like infused it into my life, and I've gifted this book to multiple people. And like, I mean, it's brought some crazy things. Like the opportunities that are coming my way now are just, it's incredible. So it's almost like living in a dream or something,
Wow. Well, this is like, the Secret, when it came out like 10 years ago, it's also gratitude and affirmations. I think I didn't get it deep into it, but you watch people's lives transition, from being a normal human being, having a human experience. And then there's an element where the harmonic of your life changes. If I said it like that, you're kind of going up a tone scale. I know tone scale is a Scientology term as well, but it is like, going up on a piano, like ding, 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 and you're starting to resonate at a different level. And then all of a sudden there are all these other people who are resonating there, and you get a harmonic with them. I don't know if you know, but the piano, obviously, I'm sure the piano is a string instrument. But one of the things that blew me away was when I learned that if you hit any C on a piano, all C's hum.
Huh.
Right? Whereas on a guitar, you hit C and it's only C hums. And that's what gives, apart from the resonance from the casing of the piano, but that's what gives the piano this magic, is we can't hear those other C's humming, but they're humming. And then that as a metaphor for this, the harmonic of where you're going and who you're attracting to and who's attracting you. And, if you're vibrating in the woe is me, I hate my life, and everybody's an asshole, you're going to find a whole lot of, negative people. Like, you're going to get a whole bunch of followers who are going to love you because that's your harmonic. You start climbing up into the gratitude, giving, sharing, helping, there's a load of people that are up there that you'd never find as a negative person.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's the kind of people that you want to be around. And when you're down in that negative mindset, you are attracting that, but it's not, nobody wants to. I mean, maybe somebody does want to be there, I guess, but in my opinion, it's not a good place to be.
You wouldn't want to be them. Once you've, I've we've all had our dark days, and you go, no, but the people that you see living in that, the mafia gang, those are the micro cultures, that kind of live 100% in that, like
they might be happy in what they are too. They might not be negative. They're just, that's their thing.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, when I
Hey,
think
honey, what did you do today? Shot a guy, like
he deserved it, whatever.
he deserved it. That's it. I'll tell you something interesting, because in Thailand here, there's a lot of people from Russia, right? Like some of them holiday, some of them out, some of them. My neighbors are Ukrainian as well. And one of the things that's fascinating is that because the Thai people are the happiest people on the planet, next to the Filipinos, right? So Filipinos and Thai, they just do happiness all day long. Smile, smile, smile. The life doesn't have to be happy. You just do happy. That's how you live. And it's a wonderful, wonderful culture, right? But the Russians, right? Everybody's complaining about the Russians. The Russians are so rude. They come across as rude. They're not actually rude. They're just culturally, their culture. And anybody who's Russian might be able to correct me if I'm wrong. But from what they're saying to me here in Thailand, is that their culture, this level of friendliness and smiling and all that, that is weakness,
Mm-hmm.
And so they grow, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, so I'm second-handing this, but it's, you can imagine, that there are a lot of really serious people and everybody's serious. You go to China, there's a lot of people that tell lies. In fact, everybody tells lies. Nobody tells the truth, because the truth is your secret.
Yeah.
But there's 1.4 billion people all lying to each other and knowing that everybody's lying to each other.
Yeah.
And we have our culture.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know what's going on when you get to China, but they're all good people.
Yeah.
They lie. Like, for example, they lie to save your face, right? I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to hurt I don't want to put myself in a position where you could, have a go at me. So I'll just tell you something that you could believe and you can accept it. But also as a boss, they might have a problem going on in the company, and they'll lie to you and say that this is all fine, while they solve the problem, because they go, why would I stress the boss with this if we can fix it? Why don't I just tell him everything's fine?
Yeah.
But in my upbringing, I was just, so we don't lie,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, boy,
but it's all happiness, isn't it?
Yeah. You can see advantages to both ways of doing things. I mean, I don't think there's any 100% correct way to do anything. I mean, there's always, but so like the Russian culture you mentioned, you think about what their environment is. They're pretty north, right? So it's pretty cold.
Very cold.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're all bundled up. They're not getting the facial expressions of the people around them. So they're not feeling that warmth, the energy that we feel here. So their interactions, they're not necessarily cold, like emotionally, like they love, but they're
wonderful.
But they're telling you direct, like they're more direct. They're just like, this is what it is. And my neighbor is like Netherlands. Oh god.
Yeah, Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch. Yeah. And so and she's like that. She's just like,
yes,
do this, you idiot. Like, do it, and she doesn't mince words. So
the Dutch and the Germans. Yeah, the Dutch and the Germans are like that, both of them. Yeah.
Which is great. Like, she'll tell if I'm doing something stupid, she'll tell me. I want to know.
Yeah.
Tell me with love.
Yeah, and because my boy, he was doing Muay Thai. He's broken his leg now, so he's not doing it at the moment. But he was doing Muay Thai, and there's a Russian guy who lives around the corner here, and his son does the Muay Thai. And so I was talking to the dad, right? And the dad said, if you're a Russian boy, you have to get your education, you have to be a good person, and you have to know how to fight. That's the Russian definition of a male child, right? Going into manhood. And I go, whoa, I've never hit anybody in my whole life. I've talked,
Yeah. No, I mean, I've never heard that before, but it makes sense. I mean, from what I've seen of the Russians, and I am not well traveled, so I've seen what I've seen. And
I've only seen the ones that have come near me. I haven't been there, to see their life.
In their culture. Yeah. So that's, I love to travel. We travel fifth wheel. I mean, we've done some, domestic traveling, and it was great. I saw a lot of different cultures just here in the U.S., just
Yes.
traveling the West Coast and kind of, I guess, Southwest, sort of deserty, whatever. And everywhere that we went, the people were a little bit different than the last place, but they had their own like unique little flavor to them, and it was cool. There was no place that I went to that I didn't make friends, and it's just neat to see how people are and then learn why they are the way they are, so
Yeah.
you can adapt and you can take little pieces of how they act and incorporate it in your life and better yourself because of it. So
Yes, and I think, if we segue back to the industry, what ultimately happens is the rigidity of, people like people that are most like themselves. That's the basic, 101 of liking people, and then, but, the more you come across people that are different, the more you identify that, that everybody is different and everybody's okay. And then as you approach different people from different cultures, from different backgrounds, people from wealth compared to people from poverty, people from, who have been private schooled and think that they're special, compared to people who know that they're not special, but as a business owner and quoting and, winning business, there's definitely a broadness that comes over you, that makes you, I don't think you're a chameleon in a sense. No, you're a chameleon. You're truly a chameleon, because a chameleon doesn't change its color on purpose. It doesn't use a cognition to change its color. It walks onto gray and it turns gray. It walks onto red and it turns red. And that's like, I think that's like, what happens as you get broader and you meet more people and more different cultures. And
yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And the more people that you meet, the more you realize there are some differences, but the vast majority of what we have as people, we're the same everywhere. There's no, like, the meat of us, the 99% of us, we're basically the same thing. We want the same stuff. We want safety for our
fire
family.
and a beer.
A fire and a beer. That's all we want. Yeah. I think there's others. I mean, somebody else has got to want a fire and a beer too, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, the people who like, I'm living in, this is my background here. It's a reflection on the glass, actually, but I'm living, in a village, in Thailand on the water. And, but I concluded that I'd been over urbanized. That's my term, right? And that's where I really noticed that you're in the countryside, right? Because I grew up on a farm, and when I got custody of Harrison and Bree, 20 years ago, the first thing I did is got out of the city and took them to a farm. We rented a 5-acre farm, and, took them, we had horses and cows and dogs and ducks and geese and ferrets and, then I went and rented a place on the river, which, like in the slow part of a river. And I got a little dinghy with an outboard motor. I don't know how you say dinghy. I probably don't say it properly. Okay, good. Then, so I was trying to show them that, this is not planet of the humans. This is the Earth planet, and we are the custodial creature. We should be looking after and honoring and respecting and helping, every creature, kind of like that. So that was my little, gig with my kids, So
I think that's good for them. That's my kids. So we live on 2.5 acres. We're in the countryside. I grew up in a small town, and it's kind of grown, but now we moved to a smaller town and out in the middle of nowhere. And, our house isn't much, but our acreage is what I really enjoy. And I love getting the kids out there. They run around in our yard barefoot most of the time, and they go dig in the dirt, pick up bugs. My daughter, it was like 2 weeks ago, it was 7 a.m. and my daughter's turning on the nature, like National Geographic or something. And it's when sharks attack. And it's like, they're demolishing all these animals at 7 a.m. while she's eating her breakfast, and she's just interested in it, but she connects with nature, like it's like she just that's her happy place, like out with the things, and she's not scared of spiders, and they're just interesting.
Do you have snakes up there?
Yeah, but they're garters. They're not poisonous. They're tiny,
Right.
just like an overgrown worm.
Yep. Yeah, an overgrown worm. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so. And so this is interesting because you've got 4 trucks. You live in the countryside in a small town, which I love because people are super friendly in small towns all over the world.
Yeah.
And then, so where do you work?
Our shop. So
yeah.
So I did run the business out of my home up until 2 years ago. We're coming up on 2 years now, and we moved into a shop that's a little bit south and east. It's towards Seattle from me, so like towards the metro. And so our shop is close to the main corridor, the main interstate system, and gives us more access to a bigger area. We're still outside of actual Seattle. We're north of Seattle a bit, so our market has a lot more potential, or we could expand our market, I should say. But yeah, it's a good spot. I mean, it's a 25-minute drive to work for me. That's the only downside, but I just put a podcast on
and the 25 minutes to work is a downside, but the 25 minutes to home, in my experience, is a useful and almost the perfect, 20 to 30 minutes is a perfect transition. If you want to go home and be dad when you get home, you can't work. You probably remember, you come from the shed and you walk into the house and you got like all this going on, you've had no debrief time for the day, and then all of a sudden it's dad.
Yeah. I struggle with that. That's actually like a hot point right now for me, is just making that cutoff. I'm okay at putting my phone on the charger and just ignoring it. If I'm called out on it, I try to do it. I try to do it initially when I get home, put it on the charger and forget about it. But it's very easy for me to just get sucked back in. That drive home, I mean, it's 15 minutes to my kids' school, and then I pick the kids up. So I got the 15-minute decompression.
There you go.
But that's about it.
Good. That's what it is. It is decompression. And you only need decompress when you have the bends.
Yeah.
When we go diving here, and there's a decompression chamber in Phuket here for people who get too much nitrogen in their blood, and then they come up too quickly. Yeah. Right. This is actually, I'm going to work on this. I've got a website which I'm building, which is called the One Page Mentor. Right. It's basically all these little ideas and metaphors which I make for Harrison and Ollie. Ultimately, it's just Dad's wisdom, but it's all in one page. Right. THE for the One Page Mentor spelled out. You can have a look at it, onepagementor.com. But this is one of those ones which I'm going to talk about. Right. Is the decompression, because it makes sense, because the nitrogen that's in your blood when you're at, say, 60 feet underwater, and you're breathing the air into your lungs, and your lungs are putting it into your blood. It's got 3 atmospheres of pressure. 1 atmosphere for the weight of the air on the ocean, and then 1 atmosphere at 30 feet, another atmosphere at 60 feet. So then now, under Boyle's law, as you come up, anything which you breathed or is in your blood or is in anything you took at that, as you come up, the pressure on it will reduce, and so it will expand, right? So that's why you have to always breathe out on the way up. You can explode your lungs in 6 feet, near the surface. If you took a breath of air at 6 feet under and held your breath and then came to the surface, you can kill yourself like that. But when people go diving many dives in a day, and then so they have a nitrogen, residual nitrogen is left in their blood, excess nitrogen, and then they come up, and then they come up too quickly from an emergency usually, then the nitrogen actually turns into bubbles, and then you're in trouble. So the only way to fix the bubbles is to recompress you, right? And then slowly decompress. Right, so they'll put you in a decompression chamber, recompress you, turn all those little bubbles that are potentially going to kill you, compress them all back so that they're nano molecules, and then slowly decompress you again. But we could do that, coming home from work, that
Yeah.
decompression, that 15 minutes. How do we do that? What are we doing? We're trying to get it out of us. And then maybe we can develop, each person on their own could develop a routine or something, because you've got the gratitude. That's one. There's got to be one, right?
Yeah. I don't on the way home. I could. My wheels are turning when you're talking right here. And I'm thinking,
right.
I like that analogy with the bends. Hopefully Nikki's watching this, my wife. So if I come home and I am obviously still compressed and I'm getting bubbles escaping, you need to recompress me and send me back to work, I guess, and then slowly bring me back out of work.
Yeah. Or even just say, hey, go down the paddock, solve all your problems, compress, and as you solve the problems, you'll decompress, but something's still on your mind. Something's still, isn't it?
Oh,
like last night we were. No. But enough of them. Got to get them to a manageable level. Last night we had JC Chinowski and his beautiful lady Angela, right? And he was coming on, and he said, "Oh, Angela's coming. I'll go and get her." I go, "No. Like whatever she's doing that she's not here, let her get all that done. So when she gets here, she's cool to be here." Yeah, otherwise her brain will be going like, I didn't do this and I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're great people. JC's awesome. He got me into Facebook. I should say Sam, my coach Sam Gimbel, it got me into the Facebook. And in December I started posting like crazy for my business originally, and then I moved it to the personal side, and I just saw a ton of momentum pick up. But JC, I saw him at some convention, and he told me to do 20 days in a row of lives, Facebook lives, which, I'm actually an introvert. I don't know if it comes across, but it's big groups and me don't do very well.
Yep.
But going live it's not like there's really a person there. It's just, you're talking to your phone. So initially it's hard. The first time going live is heart racing, but anyway, he got me into that, and it's just amazing what, how it's taken off from there. It's just a really cool thing. I don't do it as much, but
so tell us about that, because that's obviously one of those little gems that Service Six Sigma likes to hear,
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Well, what do you do? So you go live, and then what's the outcome of going live for 20 days? What happens? Is it an internal change, or is it that all of a sudden Facebook algorithm sends your neighborhood to you?
I would say it's more of an internal change. I probably gain an audience from it, I suppose. Right,
but that's not your goal. The goal is actually, a transformation of your something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's probably twofold. I just did it because JC told me to do it. So
okay.
And then I didn't want to be.
But again, once stretch, you don't return to the same dimension. So now, lives are you can go live when you want to go live. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking to you right now, and I'm not going like this and shaking, and like my heart's not doing this and stuff. So
yeah.
I still get it going on stage. I'm a member of a couple Chamber of Commerce, and I have to go up on stage in front of 100 people, and my heart's going like crazy until I start talking. And then it's okay. But, do
you want to know the best tip for public speaking?
What's that?
I'll give you the best tip for public speaking. It's called the Victory V. Now you look at your little kids, when they beat somebody, you have a little race or they have a competition or whatever, everybody goes like this. Blind people, blind from birth, win a race and go like this. They've never seen anybody do it. Nobody told them to do it. It's built into your wiring. Yeah, I don't know what it is. So what I do is, and when you do the Victory V and you hold it for 2 minutes, the testosterone goes up and the cortisol goes down.
Huh.
Cortisol is the I can't do this drug, and testosterone is the I can do it drug, like from a hormone point of view, like self-made drugs. So what you want to do is get the cortisol, which is the danger, something can go wrong, sort of mechanics of the body and the being, the organism, the animal that we are. And then testosterone is the let's go, I can do everything, right? So what I do, I promise you, this is not every time I do this, I go backstage and I walk around like this for 2 minutes. And I'm $1 million. I don't do it before we do these. I could, but then I might be too much.
I like that. Yeah, I've never heard that one. I recently was talking with a extremely successful friend of mine. Owns a real estate company that's worth, did billions. And he was talking about doing stage presentations in front of thousands of people at the White House and how it does nothing. He has no change in heart rate, nothing. It's just normal to him now from exposure. But when he first started, he said the thing that he would do is exercise in the morning. So right beforehand, he would get a real vigorous exercise, some kind of workout in. And that, to me, I think I get the same thing because I guess I haven't taken we talked about health a little bit, but the physical side of it, exercising, that's been something that I've worked up to, and I still am not perfect with it, but it's getting more consistent. And I notice a massive difference in how I feel throughout the day. And I was in the locker room, this was 3 weeks ago, maybe. And I was talking to somebody about how did you get a good workout in or whatever? And he says, yeah, I got the anxiety out of the day. And I like that. That's how I feel now. It's the anxiety just goes away after you get that hard, vigorous workout in, and it sets.
There's a certain point. Yeah, I used to I used to run just on beaches and stuff like that. I've always tried to live near the beach, and I used to run. And there's a certain point where your brain turns everything off, and you go into if I called it a survival mode, but it's probably the fight or flight. It's probably the flight mode being activated. And then all of a sudden everything else disappears, and I've just got to breathe. I've got to, it's a go, but there's nothing else. It's somewhere. But it's not part of me anymore. Whatever it is that's going on in my life. Yeah. It's not there, isn't it?
Oh yeah. No, I've felt the same. I'm a runner too. I don't run as much anymore, but I guess that was last July I ran a half marathon. So
yeah, that's a lot. I'm talking about doing 3 laps of the beach even,
well, the beach
when you get to a half marathon, you're definitely thinking survival.
Yeah. Well, no, you get into this flow state though, and you can just go forever. Right. You're not moving at a fast clip. Well, I guess in that race I was moving at a fast clip, but when you're training for it, you're only running at 20% or 30% of what you could do. It's like you're just almost walking, but it's just that long distance. And so you can just run forever as long as you have enough water and you can drink it or eat a gel or whatever. You can't.
Yeah.
You're fine.
This reminds, again, I'm going to go back to Gary Vaynerchuk, and I swear I've probably only watched about 20 Gary Vaynerchuk things, but he's got some wisdom, and one of them was he was talking to a group of people, and they were all young people, and he said, patience, you've got time, right? We all want to run as fast as we can. We all want to be, let's say we all want to be. We don't all want to be, because you and I are quite similar in the sense that we're not actually driven to be as big as possible, as soon as possible. We're going to grow organically because we grow organically because we do the right thing. But he said, you've got patience, just have patience, and this is actually, because I was trying to think, how do we link this running a half marathon, you saying no, it's not survival, you get in the zone. And I'm trying to think, well, how do you match that back to business, like to how we run in our business, which does have these things that we're running to get rid of, the anxieties. But some of it is, I think, patience, just, it is what it is, and next, like, what do I do to get through this? And, am I going to worry about this in a year's time? No. Okay, so why am I worrying about it now? So just try and get into the zone, because you're not trying to sprint 100 meters and get anywhere. There's no destination. It's a journey. It's never going to go away. There's always going to be a hill. You're lucky if you're running on roads and not mountain climbing. Those guys, the cross-country boys. Oh.
Yep.
Doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really does. And it's easy to get... I mean, for me, something that I've struggled with is falling into a comparison trap. Because you see on Facebook, if you go in there, if you dig through, everybody's posting their wins, right? So you're going to see, if you especially if you're not doing exactly what you want and you're looking at Facebook, it's a huge problem, because you're going to see and compare yourself to their best day, and it's your average day. So people aren't posting their lows, they're posting their extreme highs.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to fall into that trap. And then the other part of the, I guess, comparison to a marathon is the sprint versus the slow jog, I guess, because it's really easy to get really excited about something and just try to run at it as hard as you can. And then me being, well, I just did the visionary, or what is it, the EOS visionary integrator test, and I'm like an 80 visionary, 45 integrator. And so I'll get really excited about something. I'll start it. I'll get it like a third of the way done. And then I get excited about the next thing and run at it. And then by the time I get to like my 10th thing, this first 9 things haven't been finished. So it's a little bit depressing, because I'm like, oh, I can't do anything because I can't finish it. And so just going slow and getting, making sure that those 9 things before get accomplished, or to put into action, I should say, or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't fail, then you get there faster.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I'm going to ask you afterwards to send me the link to that, because I'd love Harrison to do that test as well, to be able to identify.
For sure.
Because Harrison, somebody, when I was younger, somebody called me an idea factory, and I was so offended. Right? He goes, "You're an idea factory, but you don't do it." Right? You come up with these great ideas and you don't do it. And I was, I don't know, probably 25, 30. And it was true. It was true. There's lots of repair that I needed to do. And so it's hard to go back, because I'm like 60, it's hard to go back through all of those pieces of my journey. But being told I was an idea factory, so I tell Harrison, like, you're an idea factory. Like, every day you have another idea. But if you don't take the idea and make it a reality, right? Then you end up clogged with ideas that have an element of guilt. And we use this term, I don't know where I got it from, but attention units. So let's say everybody's got 100. Let's say we've got 100 attention units. Other people you might meet have got 50 attention units, and other people have got 5,000, different levels of brain operation. But you've got these attention units, and then everything which is not complete is taking up attention units.
Yes.
Right? And then if you want to know what triggers your irrational mind, is the straw that broke the camel's back, is somebody requires 6 points of attention and you've got 3.
Yeah.
And you snap. Then you snap, right?
Yes.
And then we have, if the reaction is greater than the cause, the reaction is not to the cause. This is how we work together, right? If I snap and go mental, and it's a completely over the top reaction to what he said, like, do you want to go out for a beer? I haven't got time for a beer. I haven't finished this and I haven't finished that. Then you go, whoa, I only asked you out for a beer. Okay. The reaction was greater than the cause, so therefore the reaction is not to the cause. So I'm going to I'm getting out of this. That little display, of my display to him of irrational mind is not my problem. Harrison will go, that's not my problem.
Yep. Yeah.
What's going on, Dad? What's going on?
Yep. Yeah, you see it everywhere. It's not, I mean, we all are like that. And I see it in customers. You know, if a customer has an irrational response to something that we did,
Classic.
I try to teach that to my team that it's not you, it's something else going on in their life. And they're projecting that onto you because you're just the person that's there. And maybe that straw that broke the camel's back, as you said.
Yeah. They've
yeah,
run out of attention units. This is one too many incompletes, because it's an incomplete, right? It's one too many incompletes that if the human mind can only handle in consciousness 7 plus or minus 2 pieces of information at any one time.
Okay.
Right. And we can come another day, we'll come back and talk, or we'll talk offline on how to prove that. Right. Okay. So we're running a small RAM, like in computer language, we're running a small RAM, and then we've got a large hard drive, which is also spatial. It's very much like a disk. People store, you can watch their eyes, and when they remember when they're 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, and you see their eyes move to different places to pull back the memory. So it's very much like a spatial hard drive of all the things that have ever happened to you in your whole life, right? But this little RAM, and so we can only handle 7 plus or minus 2, and we're shunting like the computer does. We're shunting stuff in and out of this 7 plus or minus 2, right? And then we just get overloaded, and there's no space for it, and then we either dump it, or we blow up.
Yep.
So it's just letting people understand that there's not, that person at that moment doesn't have any space left for anything to go wrong. But their granddad could be in hospital. Their husband, she could have found a photo of a pretty girl on the husband's phone. The kid's just been pulled in by the principal for saying something wrong at school. You got no idea how many attention units could be absolutely being consumed with, and this very nice person who's beautiful, right, is just past their capacity.
Yep. Yeah. Another way I've heard it mentioned is open loops is basically what you've got going. You've got these open loops that you need to close and take action and be off of your plate. Like you need to be able to kick it off. And so for me, one thing I was struggling with this just a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I posted about it because in our warehouse, we had just a mess going on, and I wanted to accomplish getting it cleaned up or something like that. And we had this spreadsheet, and we'd put stuff on the spreadsheet, but it would never happen. And, so I was looking for a better solution, and Trello, the software, was suggested to me by a lot of people. And so we started playing with it, and now we've made Trello boards for my office side and my admin side and my technical side. And then I have my own personal brain dump, and it's been great. So we put, anytime I have a thought that can't be executed on like that, then I put it into the Trello board or put it in somebody else's Trello board on my team. And then I don't overwhelm them, because Kelsey is the most patient person on the planet, probably. She's my office manager, but I'll sit there and I'll Voxer her. We use Voxer as a walkie-talkie app. Yeah. And I'll Voxer her like 10 things in a row. And, I'll just have a thought. I'll go, Kelsey, this. And then she's like, whoa, like, what do I do? Like, what am I supposed to work on?
Which one of these do I execute? Yeah.
Yeah. So now we've got the Trello board, and I dump everything into the Trello board, my random crazy thoughts. And then on Thursdays, we have our leadership meeting, and we'll go through there and we'll sort it and we'll prioritize what to work on first, and then dump the stuff that's dumb ideas from Justin.
Yeah. Well, we use, and I got it like from I think it's called Priority Management, Time Management Program, maybe 30 years ago. It's a paper-based one, but it had the 4 Ds. So everything which happens it's got to be one D is applied to it, and do it now. Right, it's got to be 3 to 5 minutes maximum, right, for a do it now, because you shouldn't have anything more than that available for all the do it nows. But if you can do it now and get it done, it's off. Never delegate. Do it. What can be do it now. Second is delegate. No. Third is delegate. Second is decide when. Okay, I can't do this now. Decide when you're going to do it, and then allocate it there. Yeah. The third one is delegate it, where you give it to a teammate, right? And the fourth one is dump it. I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to give it a time to do it because I can't imagine doing it, having the time to do it. I can't delegate it. So I'm an idea factory. I think I'll dump this one. Come up with another idea, that I can do. So that's quite handy.
Yep. Yeah. And I guess it's that board, the Trello boards that we're using essentially do the same function. It's a way for me to be able to delegate, but not immediately, and overwhelm my team, because that's something that I've struggled with. I think I did a post today. Was that today or yesterday about this on my Facebook? And I noticed that I overwhelm people sometimes. And so I'll be in conversation and my brain function, it fires pretty fast. And so I can keep up with a pretty quick pace. But then I'll encounter people that have a little bit slower pace, which is fine. They're just moving at their rate, but I'm just like, and sometimes I do that to my wife even, she's, I'll get home and I'll be all charged up and excited. And she's like, slow down, like easy, like go do something else for a little bit, get away from me, which is totally fine. I get it. But but that's why I like to walk and talk, and I'll run at it. I'll go by a teammate and I'll be like, do this, and then I go to the next one and this, and it's like, it works.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that. And I've got an acronym which I'm not going to explain now, but I'm going to do one of these Service Six Sigmas on ideas, which is the idea to reality, and there's this design execute thing that we have to understand that a lot of the people that we talk to, because they respect us and honor us, and Harry and I have this a lot, that every word you speak, they want to take as seriously as possible. And so then while you're talking about your idea, which is a design, right, which is not real because it's an imagination, right, they're trying to execute it in real time while they're listening to you. Mm-hmm. And then they get attention units 7 ± 2, right? Then you watch their eyes glaze over, right? It means they've hit an overwhelm point, and we didn't chunk up, right? We didn't gather all these little pieces, and we can call that plan A. So we can talk about plan A because we've got like 6 little pieces in this, and we're going to do this and this and this and this and this and this, and then he's trying to execute each one, and then but so the secret is obviously you want to chunk it up and say, okay, well we're going to call that plan A, and then we can talk about whether we can do plan A. He can handle plan A because that's just one piece. Now I've got 7 ± 2 - 1 left in my brain, right? It's an interesting. It's a journey as a communicator, as a visionary, as a dreamer, how to get that across to people who want to execute what you're saying, and you're just running the future.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's really, really hard for me to be present. I want to be, and I try to be as much as I can, like intentional about, hey, this is cool, appreciating it. Like, hey, this is amazing where I've got, that gratitude, appreciation. Yeah. So that brings me back to like the time I'm at, but I'm always in the future. I'm not, the house I live in is just the house that I live in. It's not the one that I'm going to be in some crazy mansion, whatever, and I don't care about the house or what, all that stuff, but we're going to have everything we want. We're traveling to wherever we want to go. We're doing everything we want to do. It's very clear to me that that's happening. It's going to happen. Yeah. It's just a matter of when. And so, it really doesn't matter when, to be honest, because it's almost like it's already happening,
Yeah. No, I love it. I really love that. And it reminds me, and then we'll work our way to wind this up. But there was a guy who was a car manufacturer in the UK the car was called the Morris Minor. And I've never forgotten this story because it resonated with me when I was very young, and I didn't know why, because I've always been ambitious and always thought I need to be a millionaire and a multi-millionaire and all that sort of stuff, because I was conforming with all of the sales training and personal development programs that I was in, and everybody's going to make you a millionaire, and everybody's going to be a millionaire, and I'm going to be a millionaire, and all that. And then this guy, it was just a simple article about him, but he was multi in today's language, because he had one of the largest car companies in the UK. and he lived in a 3-bedroom house, and every Christmas he would go out and find somebody from the Red Cross or whatever, collecting for the poor, and he'd put a £10,000 check, which in today's money would be $500,000, and he'd just put that in their little collection bin, but there was no social media, so these are just articles of people writing about him. Nobody got to interview him. I'll go and look it up actually, but it resonated with me because I go, see, I don't have to have this monument to myself called a mansion. I don't have to, even if I'm really, because I was trying to tie it all together. When I'm really rich, I'm going to have all this, and then I'm going to have all, because I've got to show everybody that I'm really rich or whatever. And there was this guy, and he just resonated with me. He's super rich, but he didn't need to show anybody,
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because and you come to the planet naked, you leave naked.
Yeah.
So the money is what flows through your human experience. And of course we want to have a reservoir, a dam of money for the kids, something which they'll have something to flow when if life happens that way,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about somebody whose cup is full, is what it sounds like. So his cup is already full. He doesn't need to have this flashy thing, this big house, this whatever to show off. He's got everything that he needs already within him. And so, he's come to that realization. It's just the extra stuff is just a burden to him.
And the IKEA guy, if you read up, the other one is the current one, the modern one. He died maybe in the last 2 years or something. But the IKEA guy always flew economy, like IKEA.
I'm not doing that.
He could have had his own plane.
Yeah. No, thanks. I'm definitely going first class when I can. And only Delta too. So Delta, if you see this, free tickets, please.
Okay. That's great. Hey, Justin, we've hit 20 past the hour, which we do allow to happen because when we really enjoy it. So
that's a good sign. Okay.
Yeah. Ben, is there anything you wanted? Like, I've let Ben's been in the background making sure everything cracks along. Is there anything you wanted to say or ask from Justin from what you heard?
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I can ask is what advice would you give to somebody that I'm thinking about myself, to find personal time? Like, how do you find personal time in your life to be able to, not too much work,
Yeah. Are you struggling with it? It sounds like so.
Ben's a doer.
Yeah.
I'm a doer.
Yeah. I think we all are. It's very hard to turn it off.
Like, I can't set work aside. Like, I'm always thinking about, just like you mentioned, like, what can I do better? What did I check up on this client? It's always rolling.
Well, did I check up on this client? You need a CRM, so it does it for you. But
yeah.
But
that's tomorrow. CRM. We got Service Six Sigma tomorrow is CRMs.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so
Tuesday.
Just having a spot for that, But for me, I mean, and I don't know if I'm the same as everybody else, but I was very intentional the whole time about trying to about having that time with my family, because I knew. I mean, my daughter, she's 7 now. It's crazy. Like, she was just born. She's not 7. Like,
yeah.
It goes like fast, and it's going to go faster. And so I've heard a lot of people talking about regrets, on their deathbed. And I didn't want to be the one that was like regretting that I missed my kids' childhood because I was trying to make more money.
Yeah.
Because money's going to come, it's just, it's not, it might be tough right now. You're on the climb, but that time that you spend with your family, you'll never regret. So just like cutting it off, take your phone, throw it into a creek or something, and like just keep your phone away from you.
A Faraday box. That's what you want.
It's funny that you say that because
yeah. Oh yeah, that could
you can
work.
buy them on Amazon. Yeah. You can buy them on Amazon. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'd still grab it. Does it lock and put
well, give the key to your wife.
Yes. That
no way. He's nervous on that one. The heart rate went up.
Oh, no. She can take it, but she'll never give it to me. Yeah. I won't get it back till Monday. That's for sure.
That's great. Well, and Michael, if you go back and watch Michael's one, oh God, so humble, but we talked about, the trying to hold it all together, family, when you're an entrepreneur, and it doesn't always work. And everybody who is holding it together should not take it for granted. It needs, you need to stay in it, and you can never assume that the time away from the family so that you can provide for the family is not a license for the rest of your life. It's a license for a period of time until you're providing. Now you're providing. Okay, you've got dreams for more. We don't need more. We need dad. We need husband, and we all miss. I mean, I missed that. I'm not talking because I did it right. I'm talking because I missed that. I missed that, those signs, the early signs. I missed the late signs. I missed all the signs. Yeah. Then all of a sudden it's divorce, and then you're going to start again. And then if you didn't even understand what happened, you're going to do it all again. And then
so easy.
What a horrible life. Horrible. It's the worst part of life is losing a family for what? Because I worked, just because it's just that, because I worked too hard.
It's so easy to do that too. And I am extremely lucky to have found my wife, Nikki. We've been 10 years now married and together, a few years, too long before we got married. But,
good on you.
So she won't let resentments build up. And it's awesome. It took me a while to get used to it because she can be explosive. She brings the passion to the relationship, but it's such a help to me because I'm dense. I don't notice when things are happening. And so she'll make it extremely apparent to me that something is wrong. And I can't avoid it. It's there.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm aware of it, I can help fix it or, get better. And so, if she wasn't like that, I would walk through life blissfully unaware that anything was ever wrong. It was just for some reason she's mad at me. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, you're very lucky, and that's great.
Yep.
Okay, now advice to Ben. He's a do guy. He doesn't have the wife and kids yet. So I know as soon as you have a kid, Ben, there's another one. There's another way. It does happen. But I don't know the answer, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah. It's totally up to you though. If that's what you like, what do you like? Do you like to work that long? It's fine. It's not I don't think it's a problem to work hard. Commercial fishing, I'd go, do the 18-hour days and,
it is a passion.
Yeah. You enjoy it. It's not work. So, I mean, if it's wrecking relationships, that's when I think it's a problem. If it's a positive in your life, go for it, man.
Yeah, and if you get to overwhelm, when we talk about the attention units and all that, if you get to overwhelm, then you got to start, and that's where that Trello board helps. The dump. I got an idea, but it's too big for what I can do now. I don't have the resources to do it. I don't have the time to do it. Whatever. Just making sure that you're not getting anxious because you're working hard. That's like there's stress and there's distress. Stress is good. Right, everything is like all buildings and bridges, and I'm from the civil engineering background, but everything is under stress. It has a load. That's good.
Yep.
Distress is bad. That's when you can't handle the stress. So you go, woo, So stress is good. Distress is bad. If you get distressed, that's where you need to start dumping. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
But I love stress. As people go, oh, your life is stress. I go, dude, like can you see how big I am? I can carry a ton on my back, right? You can load me up.
Yeah. Oh, it brings me joy now, like that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm going to be honest, before I don't do a lot of podcasts. Like this is maybe my third ever or something. And so, beforehand I was like, I literally like cleaned the whole shop, like just anxiously cleaning stuff and like just trying to keep from like freaking out. And then, even starting out the show, I mean, like my internet dropped like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, like literally, and so the panic set in for sure, but stress is good. Like you grow from it. If you're not feeling a little bit of stress, there's something's wrong. You need to.
Yeah, I think so.
You need to be working harder, doing something.
Yeah, that's no. But if you take it back to the parables, the guy who hides what did he do? Hide the shekel under the. No, you hide your light under the bushel, or he hid the 3 servants. One buried the shekel. I don't know if you know those stories.
No.
No. Anyway, so basically, 3 servants each got given $100 each, and one guy buried it, and a year later he gave it back to the master and said, I saved it. I didn't take any risks with it. I hid it where nobody could find it, and here it is. I've looked after you on 100. And then some other guy did something else, and one guy went out and bought and sold and traded and said, I got you 100 and I've turned it into 300. And he goes, yeah, you're the guy. I don't know. I may have got it completely wrong, but that's my paraphrasing of what happened in the Bible.
Yep. Yeah, I think I have heard
Do you know that story? Did I get it right or did I get it wrong?
It sounded right to me. I like it.
No, Ben doesn't know. Yeah, something like that.
Invest.
Yeah.
Invest is what you're saying.
Invest and use and do. We're meant to be creative. We're meant to be out there. We're meant to be having a go. We're living life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one life to live. Go do it. Like, do the thing.
Yeah.
You do. You say you do. You just do it.
Great. Okay, Ben's hit the close button. Justin, if you want to stay on, we'll go into the close routine. But if you want to just debrief, stay online and we'll have a little short chat for 5 minutes. Okay.
I love it. Yeah.
All right. Go, Benji.
Okay, that is it, folks. Tune in tomorrow live at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tomorrow we will be talking about flow rate. So tune in live, and we'll be talking about water-fed pole flow rate and everything that has to do with flow rate. So,
and we're myth-busting that you need pressure. Myth-busting, you need pressure. Yeah.
Yep. So if you guys like this podcast, please like, share, subscribe, share it everywhere. We really appreciate you sharing it, and we also appreciate you commenting during the show too. We appreciate the interaction. So I hope you guys all have an epic day, and we will catch you guys next time. See you later.
Woohoo.
Hello there, Ben here with Epic Exterior Services, President and Co-founder of Service Six Sigma. We want to thank you for joining our live stream today. We appreciate any feedback is welcome. Please comment on our future posts and live streams. We always love to see the engagement in our live streams. Always ask questions, always post your comments, and reshare this video with your friends, family, Facebook, social media. Share it everywhere as much as possible. We would highly appreciate it. And if you know of a guest that would be great for our live stream, please pass them our way. You can visit our website, service6sigma.com, and there is a guest contact form that way, and we will interview that guest to make sure they are a good fit for our live stream. Again, thanks again for joining our live stream at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we will see you next time.